So no, it doesn't look like it's early September, with like, I don't know, mid 30-degree Celsius weather, but it is. I was just feeling like I needed to dress up for this video. Also, like, don't you kind of feel like in the summer specifically, it's so much colder indoors because like everyone has the ACs on, and then during the winter, it's like too warm. I wear my sweaters more indoors in the summer than I do in the winter. I think that's a normal thing though. That's like a normal phenomenon. Anyways, this video has been a long time coming. Like, I've been wanting to write about this for a while. The first one I read in May, and then the last two I read in June. So it has been a while because, like I said, it's September. But I was on a hiatus of sorts, which will probably continue again soon. But I figured, let me get on this while I still have ish of a brain left and I could remember some of what happened. And also because I was recently like just reading funny things that like other people were talking about in regards to these books. And I was like, okay, it's time to discuss it. First off, welcome back to my channel, or welcome. I don't know. People are always like welcome or welcome back. Just hi. This is Borrowed Books. I read like 99.9% of my books from the library because I don't really buy books because that is a very expensive hobby and I need to be able to eat smoothies with chia seeds, and chia seeds are also really expensive. So, yeah. But basically, Borrowed Books. Hi. We're not really into aesthetics around here. I mean, that's like very obvious from my lack of anything going on. Also, I'm in a new apartment. Been living here for 3 weeks now. Well, I do have a couch, finally, but still don't have a bed. I'm currently sitting on a bed that they left us, like the people before, and it's kind of broken and falling apart, and we need a bed. But whatever, it's fine. Listen, I have Wi-Fi and I have a phone and a laptop, so I could still babble. Anyways, let's talk about the books of today. I came across this series when somebody randomly mentioned that if you like Harry Potter, you'll like these. Anything that like says anything that has to do with Harry Potter, I'm on it. I mean, yes, huge Potterhead. Like, I'm very into Harry Potter. So I was like, oh, cool. Like, I could use something like that. That sounds like fun. Let's read something. And then I started reading them, and I'm shocked that anybody would even think to make the comparison to Harry Potter. That's not to say these books are bad. Let's finally talk about what books am I talking about. So, have you heard of Scholomance? It is a trilogy starting with A Deadly Education, then The Last Graduate, then The Golden Enclaves. Oh my god. You kind of know what I mean. I mean, if you could read. It takes place in a magical school setting, at least some of it. So therefore it's Harry Potter. I'm sorry, like, when did we take the barest minimum of like comparison and just be like, oh yeah, this is it? But then I forgot because that's literally what everybody's doing nowadays. It's like, oh, there's a snarky girl as the main character. You're going to love this book also. There's also a snarky girl. Like, there's so much more. You can't just give like a tiny bit of information. Like, you can't compare something off nothing. It's like really frustrating when people do that, when people just take two things that don't have anything to do with each other, but there's like one tiny similarity that doesn't pertain at all to like the enjoyment level of the book, and it's like, yeah, you're gonna love it. If you like magical school settings, then you'll love Harry Potter and you'll love Scholomance. And I'm like, they literally, these two series could not be more different from each other. But then I saw how like people were like, it's not like Harry Potter, but it's an answer to Harry Potter. Now, what does this mean? And also, like, is Scholomance actually good, or are people just like, oh, if you like Harry Potter, you'll like Scholomance? You know what I mean? Like, which one is it? So Scholomance isn't like Harry Potter. It's a counterpoint to Harry Potter, not a counterpart. Do you understand the difference? As in, again, regardless if you agree or disagree, I tend to disagree actually with this point. But like, if somebody wrote something and then somebody else wrote something in regards to what that person wrote, and they made it like an answer, like an argument against what they wrote. I don't know if I'm making any sense right now. Basically, those two aren't going to be alike. You're not necessarily going to like both of them, but it will kind of be put in the same box as each other, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? So Scholomance, apparently, Naomi Novik wrote it as like a counterpoint to Harry Potter. First off, people really like this book. Like, I've seen it recommended a lot. It's popular in fantasy sections on Reddit, and just in general, again, like I came across it somewhere where people were referencing it to Harry Potter. I had to wait a long time at the library to get it. Like, a couple months I was waiting for this book. So I couldn't even remember where I saw it by the time I finally read it. Like, I was just like, oh, this has been on my hold list for so long. And like, I could put like 20 books on hold. So it's great. But it also means I have no idea where the Rex came from. Like, or if I just found it myself. But most of the times when I find something myself, if I like didn't get it recommended, I'm not going to put something on hold for 6 months because I don't care enough. Like, I'll just find a different book that's available right now, unless there's something like particularly drawing me to that. But this book was recommended, so put it on hold. Finally got it. I didn't know anything about it. Like, it wasn't like spoken about. It was literally just like mentioned as a recommendation, you know? So I really went in with no expectations except Harry Potter, Harry Potter, Harry Potter, which I guess is actually really high expectations for me. If you want to read this series, which, I mean, I'll get onto the series like soon, but if you want to read it, there's going to be like a lot of spoilers, I think. Should I do without spoilers? It's like no fun to talk about books if you can actually talk about the book. Do you know what I mean? You know what? We'll do like slight spoilers, like the theme, some of the characters, but like not really go into depth about what happens. So you'll still get like a good enjoyment out of it if you are interested in reading it after watching this video. So I don't think I need to explain Harry Potter. If you walk on this earth, you've heard of it, you've come across it. I was literally just shopping for pots and pans for my new apartment and came across like a whole shelf of mugs and like tumblers and what are those, like, you know, thermoses. Harry Potter, like Harry Potter themed. It's just, they're everywhere. It was a random store. It wasn't like a kitschy like souvenir shop or something. Harry Potter just exists everywhere, and it would be extremely surprising if you hadn't heard of it. So I don't really need to explain Harry Potter to you. I mean, if you haven't actually heard of Harry Potter, you're the luckiest person in the world because now you have a chance to read it for the first time. And I am so jealous because I will never get to go back to that magical moment of reading Harry Potter for the first time and just being like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like freaking out in like the best way possible. So you were so lucky. Very lucky. Anyways, Harry Potter, School for Magical Kids. Scholomance, School for Magical Kids. And that's kind of where the similarities end. Like, hard stop. There is no other similarity. Like, you could try to convince me that there is. There isn't. I will not believe you. You're a liar. But you can try. I'm interested in hearing what you have to say. Anyways, the Scholomance is a death trap. Like, literally. It's a place where parents send their kids to protect themselves, like the parents, from flesh-eating monsters, because the monsters are way more interested in like younger kids than adults. They're not really, adults aren't so tasty. Little kids though, little kids with like strong magical abilities, that's what these monsters want. So yeah, all the parents are like, go to the school, be all together, and then yeah, a lot of you are gonna get eaten. Have fun. Hopefully we see you in 4 years. The school was like originally supposed to protect the kids, but like it doesn't actually protect the kids because the mechanisms that are supposed to protect the kids don't actually work. So instead, yeah, kids are just sent there every year, and like only a quarter graduate as seniors. A quarter. So, you know, you send 100 kids to that freshman class, only 25 of them are coming out alive. That's like really bad odds. I don't know. Would I be sending my kid there? Again, maybe I just don't want to spend 4 years desperately trying to protect my child. But as somebody who is pregnant and in their 8th month, yeah, I think I would want to actually. I think I would want to protect my child. Thank you very much. So like the concept seems super dark, right? Like really dark fantasy, whatever, but it's not actually written dark. It's kind of like comedy, dark humor vibe, which I actually love. Love that genre. It's well done also, I think. It's kind of like silly and off the cuff, and I spent a lot of time going like, seriously, this is ridiculous. But like enjoying it because I like books like that. I mean, one of my favorite authors, it's Terry Pratchett. And if you haven't read Terry Pratchett, he's hilarious, probably one of the best comedic writers ever, almost exclusively fantasy, as far as I'm aware. And it's just hilarious, but like, doesn't like so illogically hilarious also sometimes that you're just like, what? So I like that type of genre. When I'm doing this whole like side by side comparison of like Scholomance not like Harry Potter, that isn't to say that it's not good because I'm obsessed with Harry Potter. If Scholomance isn't like Harry Potter, then it's not good. It's to say that like they're just not the same thing, and two things can be good separately. But we're gonna get to my opinion of the series. But yeah, I did enjoy the genre. I was very entertained actually. It's written like in a very interesting way where basically the main character, who we'll call Elle, well, she's called Elle, that's her nickname, but she basically monologues like a ton. And it sounds like it should be really boring. Like I remember, okay, somebody just asked me for Rex and I gave them this book as a recommendation. I said, it's written weirdly. I enjoyed it, but I could totally see people like not being able to get into it because, I mean, did you see like a couple months ago when it was like going around that a bunch of people don't actually read anything except for dialogue?
Why the is this book? First of all, the writing is so tiny. Second of all, why are the pages so filled with so many words? Like, what the
Which is crazy. I'm just saying, like, I don't think was I making videos at the time? I don't remember, but I remember watching videos on it and just being like, people are pretending to read? Like what? So that's like pure aesthetic. They're like opening a book and being like, this is sweet. They're probably just reading the spice scenes and then moving along. Like I thought that was so funny, but they only read dialogue. So this book had a lot of just like full page paragraphs, like full monologues of just Elle just talking to herself or about what was happening, written in first person. And just, it's funny also because it took me a long time to work out if Elle was a boy or a girl, because it was and how people related to her was not sexual at all. And it was very confusing. And I remember all of a sudden being like, it's a girl. She's a girl. Oh, okay. It was funny. I was talking to someone also at the time about the book, and I was like, I'm enjoying this book, but I have no idea if the main character is a boy or a girl. And it's kind of it is making me relate to it a little differently, you know, like I don't know what's going on. It was fine. Like, I don't remember at what point I realized it, but it did become like eventually obvious and then very obvious. Anyways, so when I see the whole Scholomance Harry Potter thing, people like referencing that Hogwarts was very dangerous. Okay. Like super duper dangerous. Why would parents ever send their kids there? It's crazy. This is like so unrealistic. It's a magical school that's gonna kill them. But it wasn't. Like, didn't it specifically say in the Chamber of Secrets that the last kid that died was like 50 years ago? Before that, it was like Myrtle, obviously. Oh my god, am I giving like spoilers for Harry Potter now? Spoilers for Harry Potter, but like it's like one of those things, like if you need a spoiler before you read like something from forever ago, I don't know what to tell you. It's also really not a major plot point, so you're fine. You could still read Harry Potter, okay? You still go ahead, read it, please. Oh, I should really read it again. It's been too long. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna read Harry Potter. Yeah, I've been having a hard time reading. Now I'm not gonna be able to do anything if I read Harry Potter. That's the problem. It's not like I haven't read Harry Potter. I read fan fiction this year and last year. So not relevant. Back on track. Okay. So when Myrtle dies, they talk about shutting the school that's been open for like ever because Myrtle died. And then when her killer comes back and they don't know who the killer is, right? They're like, we're going to shut down the school again. Like, Hogwarts was one of the safest places ever. And like when I saw that argument made of just like Hogwarts was so dangerous and like it's such a big plot hole and like J.K. Rowling, whatever, blah, 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 people just want to hate. The first kid who actually dies when Harry's there is in, first of all, the fourth book. So he's in his fourth year. Okay. It's a highly dangerous competition that they are warned about multiple times. They're only letting 17-year-olds, which means wizards of age, compete in it. Okay. And the only reason he dies is because the most powerful wizard alive comes back to life. Well, the most powerful wizard wasn't really dead, didn't come back to life, but got his body back and killed the boy. Like that. So you're telling me that that school is like super dangerous because of all these like crazy, like outlying events? Like that's not something that's happening all the time. Like, what are you gonna do when the most powerful wizard alive comes back? It's just that's kind of what's gonna happen. Do you know what I mean? That's just sorry. And parents almost pulled their kids out of school for this. Like the school is literally gonna shut down. Dumbledore was gonna get, I was gonna say dethroned, but what's it called when you get fired? Fired, okay? And then people were like, oh, Scholomance is much more realistic. I'm just like, dudes, you're all psycho. Like I said, people just, I think when things become super popular, like you see this also with like, okay, here's like an apropos example to not me, but like big YouTubers, right? They'll be like small and growing, and like the comment section is all super encouraging. Like, we love you. Oh my gosh, you're amazing. And then once they hit like big, like, I don't know, 500,000, 1,000,000, I don't know what's considered big. It's probably different in different like genres, but all of a sudden they get the trolls, right? Because when people are successful, other people want to put them down. This book is this series of Harry Potter is massively successful. Like, say what you want, it just practically is. So you can hate it, you could love it, it's successful. It's like, don't go like poking holes into things that like don't exist. At least like bring up legitimate reasons for why you don't like it. Anyways, it just bothers me. But again, back to the whole like what people have to say about it being the anti-Harry Potter, right? It's kind of like Scholomance, like a darker anti-establishment, like super high stakes magic school, and you could contrast that with like Harry Potter, which is much more like hopeful and light, and like, yeah, there are dark themes, but it is very much more of a positive book. I saw the term like wish fulfillment fantasy. That's much more Harry Potter. I would never in a million years want to be in the world of the Scholomance ever. It was dark and twisted and sad and ugly. Still enjoyed reading it. Guess I just keep putting my 2 cents about the books like as I'm talking. But Harry Potter, I mean, I wished for that letter every single day. And I'm like one of those people, you know, that they're like, if you got your Harry Potter letter today, would you just drop everything, go to 7 years of school? I'm like, yep. Yes. Yep, I would. Thank you. I would be very excited to do that. Anyways, Scholomance does a lot of things very well. I enjoyed it. Okay, I read all 3 of the books, okay? And I will say that, like, there's a main character. She's, like, very snarky and, like, obnoxious, and, like, you don't like her. I really didn't like her. And in real life, I would never want anything to do with her, but she's, like, such a good example of, like, super moody teenager. Nobody understands me, but, like, also you kind of want to be her because she's, like, super powerful. Yeah, something I also found interesting was the theme of her mom and her are extremely close, and she references this is like right in the beginning of just like her mom being the reason that she's like not a bad person, because her mom was just so good and so kind and did the whole attachment parenting thing enough that she just made her almost evil daughter not able to become evil. But the thing that it does address a lot is about kind of like class and money and how the world treats you different when you have these types of things. And that I think was done in a very interesting way, because you're not like flat out reading a political book of just like, oh, this is boring. But the themes come through strongly and it was good. And there were so many like twisted things also that you were just like, oh my God, this is insane. Like the level of evil that some people have to be, but also the people are evil because they need to protect themselves, because again, the big bad is a pretty big bad, you know? But the thing I will not accept about a comparison of Harry Potter and like the Scholomance is like, I saw somebody mention was like, oh, what if like people actually took the dangers of the school seriously instead of just like whimsically? And I'm like, Harry Potter wasn't like whimsical. Like, I guess in some ways it was like I said, hopeful and just like pure and like exciting and like you wanted to be there, but like things weren't just a joke. Like there was like a big tree that would kill students, but also like the tree was never mentioned in the first book. Why? Because it was put at the edge of the Forbidden Forest, which you weren't allowed to go into. Like there were rules, you know, but like the Forbidden Forest had to be there, right? There's a reason Hogwarts is in this location. It takes a while to build magical barriers, okay? I remember they were spending months on preparing the Quidditch World Cup. I'm forgetting everything. But again, it's not because I haven't read Harry Potter in so long. It's just pregnancy brain. But so like they spent months doing that. So like imagine how many years they spent building the wards around Hogwarts. You can't just like up and move that, and you have like hundreds of students to protect. So, you know, like that's why it's here. as like a conclusion of like this part of like the Scholomance has nothing to do with Harry Potter. That's not true. It does. I understand that it's a counterpoint, but I also disagree with a counterpoint. Like the points that people bring up of just like, you know, like the whimsy or like the dismissing of the danger or whatever that's happening in Harry Potter, it's just not true. And it kind of seems like you never actually read Harry Potter, or that you're just like jumping on the bandwagon and hating Harry Potter, because it's just not what Harry Potter is actually about. But let's talk about Scholomance for a little bit, not in connection to Harry Potter. So, Scholomance, the setting. It is a magical school that is not doing anything to protect the kids that are sent there. They're kind of just thrown in, and very clearly, you see the people who are going to survive are the ones that come for money, the ones that have connections, the ones that have people leave them stuff, the ones that, like, okay, here's an example of some people are wearing the same shirt for like months, but the people who knew people who lived there before could have other people leave them things. So they didn't need to like wear the same shirt for months, because you can't just like bring anything. You're not like bringing a suitcase into the Scholomance. You're basically just like appearing and then reappearing. And there's like a whole gram thing of like a switch of just like what you're allowed to bring in with you and what you're not. I actually didn't fully understand that, but it was interesting in the sense that like you're limited in what you could bring and you really have to think about it. But if you know a lot of people, you're part of this big, you know, community of people who are all protecting each other, then people are going to protect you and leave you things, which is super important. You also don't really want to go anywhere alone in this Scholomance. Like, being alone means the monsters are more likely to get you, because the monsters are going to go for easy pickings. That's what they do. So you don't want to be alone. So if you have a lot of friends and you're well liked and popular, you're more likely to survive. If you're kind of a loser, you're not living past freshman year. There's a lot of casual dying in the beginning, but also at the same time, like there's death, but like it's no Game of Thrones or even like Fourth Wing, which I was just like, so much casual death, but it was less. And you expect it to be more, I think. I think it was a little confusing. Not confusing, that's a bad word, but it was like, oh, okay. And in that sense, when people are like, oh, it's dark and edgy, I'm like, no, it's kind of hopeful. Like, you feel good. You're going to read all three books, so you're going to feel good afterwards. You're not going to be like angry. At least I wasn't. So that's always a good thing. I feel like I need to read this to you. It's this dude on Reddit. Okay. He says he's 38 with a toddler 4 months ago. So he's probably still 38 with a toddler. And he just writes it so funny and so well. But okay. If you were the moody emo loner who watched Invader Zim and shopped at Hot Topic and wrote in your diary about how everyone else is a big fake, you will love Galadriel, which is Elle, the main character. That being said, there is something about Galadriel that is actually really compelling to read, despite how absolutely intolerable she would be to be around in real life. If you ever fantasized about that day when you got to show off just how powerful and special and awesome you are, and everyone who rejected you came fawning after you, and then you got the chance to reject them in a really cathartic way, but you didn't reject them because that's how awesome you are, and you'd be magnanimous and forgiving, and let them trail behind you in your wake, wishing they could be as cool as you are, because being the good guy like that means that you're even better than them, on top of being more powerful and cooler and fiercely independent, despite spending your whole life pining for their approval, then you'll love Galadriel. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. And like, didn't we all secretly feel like that deep down in high school? Like, I was like, whoa. So Naomi Novik did a really good job on like capturing like the brutality of the inner self of a teenager, kind of like the mind of how so messed up everything is in your brain, and how messed up you relate to like the entire world, but also like how satisfying it would be to be the best person out there. And really, we're hit over the head with that like again and again, how Elle is just like so much better than everyone else, like the smartest, the bestest, the most powerful. Like, she really is the best. So again, realistic, nah. Like, even in the sense that like there's not even so many struggles that she has to do, because she there are struggles, but like, okay, this is a totally different genre, but have you ever read Jack Reacher? Like any of the Jack Reacher books by Lee Child? they're just like thriller novels. I love them. They're really fun. But Jack Reacher is basically a good guy who is bigger and badder than everyone else around him. He's stronger. He's pure, pure like honor. Like he just wants to protect the little guy, and he always wins easily almost. Like he's just really strong. He's like 6'5" and huge and whatever. They have a series on Prime. It's really fun. You should watch it. So that's kind of like what it reminded me of just like a character that's just like so all powerful. It's like, okay, but also sometimes you just want to read a book like that. You just want to. Like it's more fun. So yeah, so like the themes are interesting. I would say, like I said, we spoke about class and we spoke about popularity, we spoke about money, and like they're hugely integral to like the whole plot of the book. All the books, like for sure. And if like that is something you're not interested in, it's gonna keep getting at you. It's gonna keep being like, yes, this is what it's about. Read me, listen to me. This is what it's about. This is what it's about. This is what it's about. But it was done in a fun way. And there's a lot of like surprises and things like that. And I would just say, like, if you're also looking for a quick read, like I read it on my Kindle. So I don't know how big these were, but they were so quick. It's been a long time since I read a book that fast. Like I like zoomed through it because it was just such an easy read. Like you're not overthinking things. It's not like, the thing I also liked is there wasn't too much build up. Like sometimes you're like setting drones on and the characters drone on and whatever, but this just like it jumps you in right away. It's just going. Yeah, and I liked that. And it helps you read it really quickly. I read these just like I said, like so quick. I had to wait again for I only got the first one because I was like, if I don't like the first one, I'm not gonna like put the second one on hold. But then once I got the first one and I was like, oh, this is actually really good. I put the second one on hold. I had to wait also like a month for that, but like not as long. And I had already put the third one on hold then because I was like, I know I'm gonna want to finish this. So it was also nice because it's wrapped up nicely. If you're interested in reading a trilogy that's just like done, so like you're good, like you could read it all and just be satisfied, then the Scholomance is for you. And you don't have to like Harry Potter to like it. You don't have to hate Harry Potter to like it. You don't really have to have anything to do with Harry Potter to like it. Although it is fun to wear cozy Harry Potter hats. Just like, why not, right? Enjoy. Let me know what you think. I almost wish I could talk more about it, but it's fine. Whatever. If you like this video and want more book rants, give this a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video and yeah, you were just like, what the heck is this weirdo with a Harry Potter Gryffindor hat on her head talking about, then give it a thumbs down. But let me know why in the comments, because I'm just curious. Is it just because you like hate Harry Potter or something? Because if that's the reason, that's cool. At least I just want to know. You know what I mean? And subscribe for hopefully more videos because I am not doing it as often as I would like to. And life is just getting busier. The end.